Hey, Emma.
Hi, Coach. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. So we talked a lot about last week coming down from behind two scores. Talked about resilience and all that sort of thing. Now with Isaiah Graham Mobley and Brandon Sebastian sort of starting to work their way back, has that message of resilience been something you guys have talked about outside of an on the field context?
It's something we talk about all the time. I mean, we talked about it when we went through that 4-game stretch. We talked about it early in the year, and that's life, Emma. Things are hard, and I mentioned this before. It's hard to really find out who you are as a team, as a person, as a coach, as a player, when things are really easy. Because you miss some stuff. But when you go through adversity, you find out a lot about yourself and about your team, and the players feel the same way. And like I said, to go down 21-7, and I don't really want to talk about this game anymore, but to go down 21-7 and then be up 28-21 without our guys even like blinking, it says a lot about our team. I think it's a big step for our culture because earlier this season we couldn't do it. But it's more than just a lesson in football. I mean, that's life. Things are going to get hard and you have to be able to push through. And just because they're not going well for you at the moment in life doesn't mean they're not going to turn out well. So whether you're injured, whether you're backup, you just got to keep fighting through stuff. And if you do things right, and that's like our process, right? If you give your best every single day, the best you can, and when your moment comes, you'll be ready. And if things don't work out, hopefully you'll be ready the next time.
We'll go to Rich.
Hey, Coach, where's Connor Leighton's range right now? I know he had the 49 against Missouri, but you're kind of keeping him in the 30-plus area. Just where's his range expanded since the start of the season?
Yeah, good question, Rich. I think it's expanded. Where earlier in the year, if you remember the first time I gave him a kick, it was a 49-yarder against Missouri at the end of the half. I think it's grown from there. I think that, is it going to be a 52 with like 75% chance he makes it? Probably not yet, but I'm more comfortable going further back with him now, Rich, from what I've seen based on in practice. I have a lot of confidence in him, and I think he's going to be a great one. So, we'll see, but weather conditions, wind, grass, turf, inside, outside, he's been pretty consistent. I'm really glad he's with us.
We'll go to Andy.
Jeff, this FSU team is one of the best red zone offenses in the ACC. What makes them so dangerous down there?
The backs and the quarterback. The one thing, Andy, you'll see in all football, including the National Football League, is once you get to the red zone, all quarterbacks become runners. And that's fast quarterbacks, that's slow quarterbacks. It's teams that don't run the quarterback suddenly do. The quarterback draw opens up, the zone read. So when you have a fast quarterback and really shifty backs, it's hard. And you have to be a little bit different down there schematically. And then the other thing, Andy, what you get is you'll notice this, whether you watch on Saturdays or Sundays, when you get a guy who can drop back and throw the ball in the red zone, and things aren't open, it's the off-scheduled plays that usually score. So it's the scramble, all of a sudden he throws it, right? Or it's the scramble and all of a sudden he runs it in. When you have a guy who can really move, and you're starting to see that with Phil, right? The ability to run it in, the ability to scramble in, the ability to make the throw makes it hard, makes it really hard. So that's, at least in my opinion, why they've been so successful.
We'll go next to Ken.
Jeff, I covered Georgia Tech down here in Atlanta. I know you guys are on to Florida State, but I was writing something about Jahmyr Gibbs, and I heard your comments about him Saturday. He said he thought he might be the most explosive player you've seen. Can you go a little bit further into kind of what you appreciate about him and what you noticed as a coach that has made him such a dangerous player?
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm glad we only have to play him once a year. He can accelerate. He's got incredible vision. He can burst. He's strong. He's not just this little back that can run. He can break tackles. He can catch the ball to the backfield. He can run routes. I just don't see him as an explosive running back. I see him as an explosive football player who they can throw to, who can return, who can run the ball in between the tackles. I mean, shoot, on the one, he got to the perimeter. I mean, we had a call where we jammed the end inside and the backer should have been over the top and killed the play, like laughing at it schematically, but he was able to beat our player to the edge. I mean, he's got that ability in his body. I think he's going to be a great NFL back. I think people are going to talk about that guy for a long time. And I think the ACC and nationally, people should talk about him more.
Thank you.
We'll go to Trevor.
This one's kind of out of left field, but just curious, what's it like being a head coach versus an assistant coach in terms of injuries when you're managing that during a game? Just how what are your responsibilities and what's it like adjusting on the fly like that?
Yeah, as an assistant coach, I'd have like a card on me. If you see me, I write a lot during the game. I'd have a card on me with all my guys, and then I'd have a plan. If this guy goes down, I put this guy in. If this guy goes down, I put this guy in, and I'd be really detailed with that. I've learned early in my career I can't do that with all the positions. So my job is just to make sure that all the assistants, they have that, so they're ready. And we usually go over that the day before the game. So whether you're in nickel defense, who's your backup nickel? And if you want to go into some crazy dime defense, you better have a backup because you don't want one player to ruin your whole package. So it's very important for especially the guys in the booth. So when we communicate, they have it all laid out in front of them. And then it's our medical staff's job. As soon as somebody goes down and they tell me, hey, he's down or he's out. And then I usually click over to that side and talk to him. And I usually click over to Coach Turn on special teams because that affects special teams. You know, all of a sudden our right corner's out, who's the starter on 2 special teams units. We better go and make sure we handle that. Or all of a sudden we call a punt and we got 10 guys. So that's pretty important stuff. That's a good question. Like you can talk about that, man. You can mess that up fast.
We'll go back to Andy.
Jeff, I know it's a good thing when we aren't talking about this, but penalties, you guys are second in the ACC in fewest penalties this year. What does that mean to you, especially after last year, taking that step forward and limiting them this year?
Yeah, Andy, truthfully, I didn't even know that we were second. And I appreciate you telling me that. That wasn't where it should have been last year, and that's on me. I think the discipline of our team, the discipline of our coaches. I think when you make mistakes, whether it's penalties or scheme, I think you got to be more demanding. And I think that's one of the things we were. And I think that's one of the things I did not do well last year. And we made an emphasis on it, but give credit to the players because they actually have to go out and execute it. You know, I credit the players, I credit the staff, and we got to keep working at it. You know, there's still some little ones, Andy, that just totally unexcusable. And I need to make sure we do a better job of not putting ourselves in bad situations, like giving up 30 yards on a major drive to give up points. That can't happen. And that's my job to make sure it doesn't.
Go to Kevin.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, Kevin. Thanks.
So obviously when you're in the middle of it, you know, you can't really reflect on the season and stuff like that, but only 2 weeks left. Have you had a kind of, you know, a holy crap, we only have 2 weeks left moment?
I like the holy crap. No, I haven't. You know, you get so just in a routine where it's like Monday, you do every like minute of my day, I feel like is accounted for. So I don't think that far ahead. I think next week it will, because then I'm going to have to plan on going on the road recruiting and doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm going to have to kind of get other things done, but I haven't had that yet. Sorry to disappoint you.
Go to Rich.
When you just think about the holder, the snapper, and the kicker, is that like one of the most precise plays in football, trying to get that down?
Yeah. And you know what? Tess had a big time hold last week that probably went unnoticed because it was high and he got it down. If you guys watch, our holders, like they literally put their finger like on a spot, and our kickers are like, they're counting on them to not only catch the ball, but put it right on that spot. It's not like Rich, we're just catching the ball and putting it anywhere. The precision there has got to be on point. And then obviously you want to flip it so the laces aren't being kicked, which we all know laces out from our movie, whatever it was. But that precision, Rich, I mean, that's huge. And I think Gunner and Tess, they don't get enough credit. And usually after Connor makes a field goal, I go over to them first. Because I think people take that for granted how hard it is. And they think that those guys at practice probably just kind of hang out. If you watch and you look over, they're working on that all the time. And they're very valuable. And I probably didn't appreciate that as an assistant or a coordinator, but I appreciate it now.
Are they just working out in all weather too? Do you keep them outside so that they're always working in weather?
Say that one more time, Rich.
Yeah, I just said, do you keep them working outside so that, you know, they're always in the elements?
They do both. Yeah, for sure. Because whether it's cold or wet or warm, they gotta be able to do it in all elements for sure. And we've had some rainy games. We had like 3 in a row in that stretch, remember?
Jeff, that looks like it's all our questions for today. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. See you in a couple of days. Have a good day.